Solve this, and I'll personally apologize in front of the entire school. Principal Kenneth Morrison smirks, chalk screeching across the board as he writes an advanced calculus problem. The assembly hall erupts in laughter. 842 students watching a 14-year-old black boy being humiliated. Take your time, Marcus. I know this is way beyond whatever they teach in your neighborhood. More laughter. Marcus Williams stands frozen at the podium, award certificate crumpled in his sweating hand. The principal just turned his academic achievement ceremony into a public execution. But what Principal Morrison doesn't know is that Marcus has been solving problems like this since he was 9. And in exactly 47 seconds, this man's career, his reputation, and his entire worldview are about to shatter. Have you ever watched someone's arrogance destroy them in real time? Marcus Williams woke up at 5:47 a.m. to his phone alarm. Same as every day. No snooze button. His bedroom in the small 2-bedroom apartment in South Memphis was barely big enough for his twin bed and the desk pushed against the wall. Every inch of wall space was covered. Math competition certificates. Printed research papers on number theory. A poster of Katherine Johnson from NASA. A whiteboard filled with equations he'd been working on the night before. His younger sister, Tiana, was still asleep in the bunk below him. She was 7, and she snored like their grandmother. Marcus smiled, climbed down quietly, grabbed his clothes, and headed to the bathroom. In the kitchen, his mother, Diane Williams, was already in her CNA scrubs. She worked at Mercy Hospital, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. most days, sometimes doubles. She was 38 but looked older. Life had a way of doing that. Big day, baby. She poured him orange juice, set out a bowl for cereal. You nervous? A little. Marcus sat down, poured generic Cheerios. It's just an assembly. I get the certificate, say thank you, sit down. It's more than that. Diane sat across from him, her hand covering his. State math competition. First place in your division. You beat 300 kids, Marcus. 300, and you're only 14. Marcus shrugged, but he was proud. He'd spent 6 months preparing, studying calculus concepts that most students didn't see until senior year of high school. His teacher, Ms. Chin, had given him college textbooks. He'd worked through them alone, late at night, while his mother worked doubles and Tiana slept. Mom, it's not that big of a deal. It is to me. Her eyes were shining. Your daddy would have been so proud. Marcus's father had died 3 years ago. Heart attack at 39. He'd been a postal worker, and he'd always told Marcus that education was the way out. The way up. The way forward. I know, Mama. You wear that like armor today. She pointed at his chest. You earned this. Don't let anybody make you feel small. Marcus nodded, but he didn't fully understand what she meant. Not yet. Jefferson County High School's assembly hall was packed by 10 a.m. The quarterly achievement assembly was mandatory for all students, grades 9 through 12. 842 students filled the bleachers. Teachers lined the walls. On stage sat Principal Kenneth Morrison, Vice Principal Angela Brooks, and several department heads. Principal Morrison was 56, white, with silver hair that he was clearly proud of. He wore expensive suits, drove a BMW, and had been principal for 11 years. He'd never been shy about his opinions on standards and excellence and the kinds of students who succeed. Marcus sat in the front row with the other award recipients. There were 12 of them. He was the only black student, the only one from a subsidized housing address, the only one whose parent couldn't take off work to attend. Ms. Chen, his Algebra 2 teacher, sat nearby. She was 34, Asian American, and one of the only teachers who'd ever really pushed Marcus. She'd noticed his talent in 9th grade when he'd solved a problem 3 different ways, each more elegant than the last. You ready? She whispered. Yeah, Miss Chin. Remember, you belong here. You earned this. Marcus wondered why everyone kept saying that. The assembly started with the Pledge of Allegiance. Then Principal Morrison took the microphone. He had that voice. The one authority figures used when they wanted everyone to know they were important. Good morning, Jefferson County students. Today we celebrate excellence. He smiled, scanning the crowd. We have some truly outstanding achievements to recognize. National Merit Scholars, athletic championships, academic competition winners. He called students up one by one. Each got applause, a handshake, a certificate. Then he got to Marcus. And now, our state math competition winner. First place in the Algebra 2 division. Morrison's tone shifted slightly. Less warm. More skeptical. Marcus Williams. Applause. Marcus stood, walked to the stage, shook Morrison's hand. The principal's grip was limp, dismissive. Congratulations, Marcus. Morrison handed him the certificate, but didn't let go immediately. This is quite an achievement. Tell me who helped you prepare. The question landed wrong. Marcus felt it. I prepared myself, sir. Ms. Chin gave me materials, but I studied on my own. On your own? Morrison's eyebrows raised. Impressive. These problems are quite advanced. College-level calculus, differential equations, proofs. Yes, sir. And you understood all of it? By yourself. The assembly hall had gone quiet. Students were watching. Ms. Chen stood up from her seat, her face tight. Yes, sir. I've been studying advanced mathematics since middle school. Morrison smiled, but it wasn't kind. Well, let's see if that's true. He walked to the whiteboard at the side of the stage. Picked up a marker. The squeaking sound echoed through the silent hall. Principal Morrison, Ms. Chen called out. That's not necessary. I think it is, Ms. Chen. Morrison didn't turn around. We have standards at this school. We can't just hand out certificates because someone claims they won a competition. We need to verify. He wrote on the board. Integral, x superscript 2 plus 3x, e caret x dx. An integration by parts problem. Advanced. Most high school seniors would struggle with it. Most students in the assembly had no idea what they were looking at. Solve this, Marcus. Morrison capped the marker, crossed his arms. Take your time. I know this is way beyond whatever they teach in your neighborhood schools. The assembly hall erupted in whispers. Some laughter. Students pulled out phones, started recording. Marcus stared at the problem. His heart pounded. His hands were shaking. This wasn't about math anymore. This was about humiliation. This was about Principal Morrison proving something. Sir, I don't think, Marcus started. What's wrong? Morrison interrupted. I thought you studied calculus. This is a standard integration problem. Any senior calculus student could solve it. Marcus looked at Ms. Chen. She was furious, whispering urgently to Vice Principal Brooks. But Brooks just sat there, arms crossed, watching. Maybe you're not as prepared as you claimed. Morrison's voice carried across the silent hall. Maybe someone else took that test for you. Maybe. Give me the marker. Marcus's voice was quiet, but it cut through Morrison's speech. The principal stopped mid-sentence. What? Give me the marker. I'll solve it. Morrison smiled. Triumphant. He'd expected Marcus to break down, to admit he couldn't do it, to prove that kids like him didn't belong in advanced academics. By all means. He handed Marcus the marker. Marcus walked to the board. 842 students watching. Dozens of phones recording. His mother's words echoed, "You wear that like armor today." He uncapped the marker. His hand steadied. And then he began to write. Integration by parts. The formula flashed in Marcus's mind. Integral u div equals uv integral v do. He wrote it at the top of the board. Then broke down the problem methodically. Let u equals x superscript 2 plus 3x, then do equals 2x plus 3 dx. Let dv equals e to the power of x dx, then v equals e to the power of x. First application, x superscript 2 plus 3x, e caret x, integral e caret x 2x plus 3 dx. The assembly hall was silent. Marcus wrote faster, his handwriting clean and precise. He'd done this problem 100 times. Different versions, same concept. For the second integral, he applied parts again. Let u equals 2x plus 3, do equals 2 dx. Let dv equals e to the power of x dx, v equals e to the power of x. Result, 2x plus 3, e caret x integral 2 e caret x dx equals 2x plus 3 e caret x 2e to the power of x. He combined everything, factored out e to the power of x, simplified. Final answer, e caret x x superscript 2 plus x plus 1 plus c. He set the marker down. Turned to face Principal Morrison. Would you like me to verify it by taking the derivative? Morrison's face had gone pale. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Ms. Chin started clapping. Slowly at first, then faster. A few students joined her. Then more. Then the entire front section erupted in applause. But Marcus wasn't done. You said this is a standard senior calculus problem. You're right. It's from the AP Calculus BC curriculum. Specifically, it's problem 3 from the 2019 exam. He pointed at the board. I've solved every AP Calculus exam going back to 2010. This one took me 47 seconds. The applause grew louder. Students were standing now. You asked who helped me prepare. Marcus's voice was stronger now. My teacher, Ms. Chen, gave me textbooks. My mother worked doubles so I could have a quiet place to study. My little sister let me use our bedroom as an office every night. And I helped myself by working harder than anyone in this school because I knew people like you would doubt me. Morrison tried to speak. Marcus, I didn't mean. You asked if someone took the test for me. Marcus pulled out his phone, pulled up an email, held it up. This is from the State Mathematics Association. My score was 98 out of 100. The next closest competitor scored 87. I didn't just win. I dominated. Miss Chen was on stage now, standing beside Marcus. Principal Morrison, this is completely inappropriate. You've humiliated a student in front of the entire school because of your own biases. I was simply verifying. You were testing him because you couldn't believe a black kid from South Memphis could be brilliant. Miss Chen's voice was sharp as a blade. You've never tested any other award winner. You've never demanded proof from Jessica Montgomery when she won the science fair, or from Connor Walsh when he made national merit. The assembly hall went dead silent. Vice Principal Brooks finally stood up. Angela Brooks was 48, black, and she'd been quietly watching this disaster unfold. Now her face was set in stone. Principal Morrison, we need to speak. In my office. Angela, I think you're overreacting. Now. Morrison looked around. 842 students staring at him. Dozens of phones recording. Teachers watching with disgust. He'd lost control completely. Fine. He straightened his tie, tried to regain composure. Marcus, congratulations on your award. You may return to your seat. Actually, Marcus said quietly, you made me a promise. Morrison froze. What? You said, solve this, and I'll personally apologize in front of the entire school. Marcus looked him in the eye. I solved it. I'm waiting. The assembly hall erupted. Students cheering, whooping, some chanting, apologize. Apologize. Morrison's face turned red. Then purple. I didn't actually mean. You didn't mean it because you didn't think I could do it. Marcus held his ground. But I did. So either you keep your word, or everyone here knows that the principal of Jefferson County High School is a liar. Brooks stepped forward. Principal Morrison, apologize. Now. The seconds stretched. Morrison looked around desperately for an escape route. There wasn't one. I apologize, he muttered. Louder, Marcus said. The people in the back can't hear you. Morrison's jaw clenched. I apologize, Marcus. That was inappropriate. For what specifically? Miss Chen was smiling now, arms crossed. For questioning your achievement. For testing you publicly. For making assumptions about your capabilities. Marcus nodded. Thank you, sir. He walked off the stage to thunderous applause. Students high-fived him as he passed. Teachers nodded with respect. And Principal Morrison stood on stage, his authority shattered, his bias exposed, while hundreds of phones uploaded the video to every social media platform in existence. By lunch, the video had 50,000 views. By the end of school, 200,000. By dinner time, it was national news. Marcus sat in Vice Principal Brooks's office at 3:30 p.m. His mother had left work early, still in her scrubs. Ms. Chen sat beside him. Across the desk, Brooks reviewed incident reports with a lawyer from the school district. "Marcus, I want to be very clear," Brooks said. "What Principal Morrison did was wrong. Completely, utterly wrong. The district is conducting a full investigation." Diane Williams's voice was ice. "Investigation? That man humiliated my son in front of 800 people. That's not an investigation. That's a termination." The district lawyer, a man named Harrison, cleared his throat. "Mrs. Williams, I understand your anger. Principal Morrison has been placed on immediate administrative leave. The school board will meet tomorrow to discuss his future." "Discuss?" Diane stood up. "There's nothing to discuss. My 14-year-old son had to prove he's not a cheater because your principal thinks black kids can't be smart." "Mom," Marcus tried. "No, baby." She looked at him, eyes fierce. "You did nothing wrong. You should never have been in that position." Ms. Chen spoke up. "I've documented 3 other incidents this semester where Principal Morrison has questioned the achievements of minority students. This isn't isolated. This is a pattern." Harrison wrote something down. "We'll need those documents. You'll have them by tonight." Brooks leaned forward. "Marcus, I want you to know that you have my full support. And I want to ask you something. The district wants to issue a public apology. They'd like you to be part of it. A statement about your achievement, about what happened today, about your goals for the future." Marcus looked at his mother. She nodded. But I want to say something too." "Of course. Whatever you want." "I want to talk about the other kids. The ones who don't have videos going viral. The ones who get questioned every day and nobody notices." Brooks smiled. "You're a remarkable young man, Marcus." The school board met the next evening. Emergency session. The boardroom was packed with parents, teachers, students, and media. Marcus sat in the front row with his mother and Ms. Chen. Principal Morrison sat at the defendant's table with his lawyer and his union representative. He looked smaller now. Older. The man who'd stood on that stage 24 hours ago with such confidence was gone. The video played on the big screen. Every excruciating second. Morrison's condescending smile. His assumption that Marcus couldn't solve the problem. The moment when Marcus proved him wrong. The forced apology. Board President Dr. Carolyn Hayes, a black woman in her 60s, watched the video with her jaw clenched. "Principal Morrison, you have the right to respond." Morrison stood. His lawyer had obviously coached him. "I want to apologize to Marcus Williams and his family. I made a terrible error in judgment. I was trying to ensure academic integrity, but I went about it the wrong way. I allowed my personal biases to influence my professional judgment, and for that, I am deeply sorry." It sounded rehearsed. "Hello. You've been principal here for 11 years, Dr. Hayes said. In that time, how many white students have you publicly tested to verify their achievements?" Morrison hesitated. I don't recall." "The answer is 0. Ms. Chen stood up from the audience. "I've been teaching at Jefferson County for 8 years. I've watched Principal Morrison dismiss minority students' achievements repeatedly. Last year, he suggested that Jamila Thompson's perfect SAT score must have been a computer error. 2 years ago, he told David Chin, my nephew, that Asians are naturally good at math, so his achievement didn't count the same way." The room erupted in murmurs. "This isn't about one bad day," Ms. Chin continued. "This is about a man who fundamentally believes that certain students don't belong in academic excellence. And he's been acting on that belief for over a decade." Board member Thomas Mitchell, an older white man, spoke up. "Now, let's not rush to judgment. Principal Morrison has an exemplary record. Test scores have improved under his leadership." 4 white students, a parent called out. "My daughter is black." Her counselor told her she should consider more realistic colleges than Vanderbilt. She had a 4.0 GPA and a 1520 SAT. She got into Vanderbilt. No thanks to this school. Another parent stood. "My son was suspended for disrupting class when he corrected his history teacher's mistake about the civil rights movement. He's black. The white student who argued with the same teacher got detention. More parents stood. More stories. A dam had broken. Dr. Hayes held up her hand. I've heard enough. The board will deliberate. We'll reconvene in 1 hour. They didn't need an hour. They needed 23 minutes. When the board returned, Dr. Hayes read the decision. After careful review of the evidence, testimony from staff and parents, and consideration of Principal Morrison's pattern of behavior, the Jefferson County School Board has voted to terminate Kenneth Morrison's contract, effective immediately. Additionally, we are launching a comprehensive review of disciplinary practices, academic counseling, and bias training for all staff. The audience erupted in applause. Morrison sat motionless. His lawyer whispered urgently, probably about appeals and wrongful termination lawsuits. But Morrison knew the truth. That video had 4 million views now. His career was over. Dr. Hayes turned to Marcus. Marcus Williams, would you like to say anything? Marcus stood. At 14, he suddenly felt very old. I'm not special. I'm just a kid who likes math. I'm good at it because I work hard, because my mom sacrifices for me, because teachers like Ms. Chin believe in me. He paused. But there are hundreds of kids like me in this district. Black kids, Latino kids, poor kids who are brilliant and nobody notices because they're too busy assuming we can't be. He looked directly at Morrison. You tried to humiliate me because you thought I didn't belong. But I do belong. We all belong. And the sooner schools start believing that, the sooner kids like me won't have to prove ourselves with calculus problems in front of 800 people just to be respected. The applause was deafening. Marcus Williams sat in the MIT admissions office. At 14, he was obviously too young to attend, but the university had invited him for a special weekend program. A preview. A promise. Dr. Sandra Martinez, the admissions director, smiled across her desk. Marcus, your story has inspired thousands of students. We've had a 300% increase in applications from underrepresented minorities. Students are sending us videos with the caption, "Be like Marcus." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. I just solved a math problem. You did more than that. You stood up for yourself. You demanded respect. You showed the world that brilliance doesn't look one way. She pulled out a folder. We'd like to offer you a spot in our summer mathematics intensive program. Full scholarship. It's designed for exceptional students who are years ahead of their peers. You'd work with MIT professors, attend lectures, conduct research. Marcus's eyes went wide. Really? Really? And when you're ready for college, and I think that might be sooner than you expect, we'd very much like you to consider MIT. Marcus thought about his mother working doubles at Mercy Hospital. About Tiana snoring in the bunk below him. About his father who'd told him education was the way forward. I'll have to ask my mom. Of course. Take all the time you need. But Marcus already knew what she'd say. She'd cry, hug him too tight, and tell him his father would be proud. Vice Principal Angela Brooks became Principal Brooks. Her first action was hiring a diversity and inclusion coordinator. Her second was implementing blind grading systems for academic competitions. Her third was creating a mentorship program pairing advanced students with younger kids from underserved communities. Ms. Chen was named Teacher of the Year. She used her prize money to create a scholarship fund for students pursuing STEM fields. Principal Morrison sued for wrongful termination. He lost. The video was Exhibit A. He now works as a consultant for a textbook company. He's never been allowed back in a school. The State Mathematics Association created the Marcus Williams Award for Academic Excellence and Perseverance. It's given annually to a student who overcomes bias and adversity through achievement. Marcus's video has 12 million views. Students around the world recognize him. But in South Memphis, he's still just Marcus. Still wakes up at 5:47 a.m. Still helps Tiana with homework. Still works on equations late into the night. He's just Marcus. Except now, the world knows what his mother always knew, that he's extraordinary. Marcus Williams stood at another podium. This time at the National STEM Conference in Washington, D.C. 2,000 educators in the audience. News cameras in the back. This was different from that assembly hall. But the message was the same. I was 14 years old when my principal tried to humiliate me in front of my entire school. He didn't think I belonged in advanced mathematics. He didn't think a black kid from South Memphis could understand calculus. He was wrong. Marcus clicked to the next slide. It showed that integration problem. This problem took me 47 seconds to solve. But it took me 14 years to earn the right to be believed when I solved it. That's the real problem. He looked out at the audience. Teachers, administrators, policy makers. How many kids are sitting in your classrooms right now being underestimated? How many students have you assumed couldn't handle advanced material because of their zip code, their skin color, their parents' income? How many Marcus Williams have you turned away before they ever got a chance to prove themselves? The room was silent. I'm not special. I'm not a genius. I'm a kid who likes math and had teachers who believed in me. But imagine how many kids never get those teachers. Never get that chance. Never get to prove that they belong. He showed his final slide. A photo of himself at 9 years old, grinning, holding his first math competition medal. This is me at 9. I just won my first local math competition. I was so proud. My dad had just died, and math was the thing that made sense when nothing else did. I thought if I just worked hard enough, if I was smart enough, people would see me for who I really was. His voice cracked slightly. It took 5 more years and a viral video for people to see me. That's 5 years too long. He stepped away from the podium. The audience rose as one, applauding. But Marcus wasn't thinking about the applause. He was thinking about a kid somewhere in South Memphis. A kid sitting in the back of a math class, brilliant and invisible, waiting for someone to notice. He'd spend the rest of his life making sure they did. Here's what keeps me up at night about Marcus's story. He had to solve an advanced calculus problem in front of 800 people just to be believed. He had to be exceptional just to be seen as equal. And he had a teacher who believed in him. He had a mother who fought for him. He had a video that went viral. How many kids have none of those things? Principal Morrison lost his job, and good riddance. But he's just one man. The system that created him, that allowed him to humiliate minority students for 11 years, that system is still running in schools across America right now. Somewhere today, a brilliant black kid is being told to be realistic about their dreams. Somewhere today, a talented Latino student is being advised to take easier classes. Somewhere today, a poor kid who could change the world is being ignored because nobody expects greatness from their zip code. The question isn't whether Marcus was brilliant. The question is, how many students never get the chance to show their brilliance because nobody bothers to look? Marcus solved that problem in 47 seconds. How long will it take us to solve this one? If this story moved you, share it. Someone needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Black Sage for more stories about students fighting for their right to be seen. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated? Have you ever been the person doing the underestimating? Because every classroom in America has a Marcus Williams sitting in it. The question is whether we're brave enough to see them. Every student deserves a teacher who believes in them. Every child deserves a principal who celebrates their achievements instead of questioning them. Every brilliant mind deserves a chance to shine, regardless of their skin color, their address, or their parents' job. Marcus got his chance. He proved himself. But he shouldn't have had to. The next Marcus Williams is sitting in a classroom right now. Maybe in your school. Maybe in your community. And they're waiting for someone to notice. Will it be you? Like this video if you believe every student deserves respect. Share it if you've ever been underestimated. Subscribe for more stories of young people proving the doubters wrong. And remember, brilliance doesn't look one way. It looks like Marcus Williams. It looks like the student you might be overlooking right now. See them. Believe them. Give them their chance. Because the next person to change the world might be sitting in the back of a classroom, invisible, waiting for just one person to notice. Be that person.